Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Simply Cinnamon. And if you're new here, welcome into our little world of self-love, self-care, and of course, all things beauty. Today's video, I am going to be talking about my microblading experience that I had back in, I believe, July or August of 2018. And I'm going to come in really close. And as you can see, I barely have any hair there. Well, it's hard to see, but I barely have any hair. My hair goes from like maybe here to here. It's like this little section. But this is them microbladed. I don't have them penciled in or anything like that. So, it's nice to wake up with brows every day. I used to pencil them in, because brows really do frame your face. And then I also used to tint them in, but I had barely any hair there, so the tinting wouldn't last maybe about a week or two, and then I'd have to do it over again. So I did a lot of research. I Googled a lot of stuff, read a lot of stuff about microblading, to find the perfect PMU, permanent makeup artist is what they're called. I did Facebook, Instagram, and I just kept searching and talking to people on the phone till I found someone that I truly believed what is the best permanent makeup artist out there. Her name is Dina Marie. Hey, Dina. She has an Instagram page, and Dina, you're going to kill me if I say it wrong. It's Bellafaccia, I think, PMU. So I'm going to spell it for you. BELLAFACCIA You need to go right over to her Instagram page and just look at the work that she does. The reason I chose her is because she does all ages, all races. It doesn't matter. Girls with oily skin, girls with acne. She is a true artist. Every single brow is different on every single person. And she really takes the time and sits with you to decide what kind of shape you want, what would look best on your face, what you would be happiest with. So I just want to show you a picture. This is me in 2017. I have barely any brows there, right? Okay, so that's what, 3 years ago. This is little Cinnamon at 5.5 or 6 years old. Yes, look at those curls. I look like an Oompa Loompa. I don't know what my mother was thinking, but I did have platinum blonde hair at one time, and again, barely can see my brows. I believe at this time I was living in Panama. My father was in the military. So always had very sparse, very thin brows. And, I just got tired of like spending the money. I do still like sometimes will pencil them in if I want a really dramatic look. But if I'm going for a more natural like look, I just leave them be. I just got tired of buying pencils, buying dye. And I'm thinking all this money that I'm spending on buying pencils, buying, the gel stuff that goes over top of the pencil, and buying dye to tint it. I'm thinking, why don't I save up my money and do something that's going to be permanent? And they suggest that you go back once a year to have them redone. But I really have not felt the need to have that done. I'm still very happy with the shading of them. And so without further ado, let's just get into some of the things that you need to know. So I'm going to be also doing this is going to be very challenging. I'm going to do like a little eyeshadow look too, because I do have to run out in a little bit. So I'm going to be talking and doing this as well. So some of the things that you need to know is, if you're pregnant, you would not be a candidate for this because your face, if you've ever had a child, your face does swell. You're producing more blood for you and your baby. So really not a great candidate for that. You would want to wait until after pregnancy or do it before you are thinking of getting pregnant. And also if you're nursing a baby, because again, you're producing, more blood flow, and you will bleed during this procedure. A, a, a little bit if you follow the instructions. I had a mishap, and I'll explain that to you in a few minutes. But so, or if you're an uncontrolled diabetic, you're not a candidate for this. And the reason is, if your blood sugar is high, then it is going it's you're going to have like uncontrolled bleeding if your blood sugar is too high, and because your blood is thinner. Okay? So you cannot take prior to your appointment, 2 weeks before. You have to stop aspirin, vitamin E, ibuprofen, Advil, niacin, magnesium, primrose oil. You need to avoid fish oil, prenatal vitamins, nutritional shakes, hair, skin, and nail supplements, vitamin C, and retinol. All of these things, you know, well, the aspirin part of it is it thins out your blood and makes you bleed. So you have to stop that 2 weeks prior to, because if you take it on a regular basis, it's in your system. You need time for it to go out of your system. Let's see what else. The vitamin C. If you use a vitamin C or retinol on your face, you need to stop that 2 weeks prior to, because 2 to 4 weeks prior to, especially if you're using it all the time, because what's going to happen is it is going to make the pigment fade like fast, because what we're doing, vitamin C helps get rid of like brown spots and stuff like that. Retinol is peeling off like the dead layers of our skin, and you actually want to stop. You don't want your skin to rejuvenate as fast, and I know that that sounds weird, but there is a reason behind it, and I'll get to that. You can't do chemical peels or microdermabrasion. This is at least 2 to 4 weeks before. Again, because it makes your skin rejuvenate faster. Botox you cannot do, because if you do Botox in this area, it temporarily alters like the shape of your forehead. So if you're doing Botox, it's temporarily altered. They're trying to microblade, and then when that Botox wears off, you might have one eyebrow up here and one eyebrow down there. So you need to avoid that. Again, you can't do brow tinting or the brow threading or anything like that. You want your hair to just leave your hair alone and let it grow in. It may look a mess, but they do like shape it up and clean it up for you before doing it. And you want to avoid going during your menstrual cycle, because you'll just be in more pain. Avoid sun exposure prior to going, because they can't microblade on burnt skin. It's just, that would be kind of stupid, right? So, the procedure itself is going to take about 2 to 3 hours. And what happened with me, sorry, I'm looking down because I want to grab my brush. What happened with me is I went, right before 2 hours, I went a half an hour early. And what they actually do is they start out putting a numbing cream right across your brow area, and then they put a piece of plastic down to like hold it in place. So you're kind of pre-numbed on that. And it does hurt. I'm not going to lie. It does hurt. Like the first couple of strokes does hurt, but also the pigment has like kind of like a lidocaine kind of thing in it. So as they're starting the procedure, it does actually become a little bit more numb. And so, but I don't want to blow smoke up at anybody's hiney. It will hurt. So I went in, I sat for half an hour with it on my brows. I went in, and the first thing Dina did was, she just sat and talked with me, like, what are you looking for? And she saw the color of my hair. We picked out, she has a wide range of colors. She picked out a couple, and we were like, well, this will go with it, will this go with my hair? And she custom blended the color that was going to go on my brows. And then she took it, all I can describe it as, you remember back in the day, the pencils that like it has a string and you pull away, that oil kind of pencil. Then that's what she did, is she like measured here and here, here and here. She measured from here to here. Like, she did all kinds of measurements on my eyes. And she used that oil kind of a pen to do a basic like outline freehand of what my brow should look like. And so from going from no brows and then seeing like it kind of penciled in like that, I was like, I don't know. And she's like, relax, like this is just a rough draft. So the appointment was in 2 parts. Okay, so I went to my first appointment. It was about 2 hours long. I followed all the directions, so there was minimal bleeding. And if you look very closely, you can see kind of like hair-like strokes all up in here, okay? So the best way I can describe the tool that she uses is it's a thin-shaped, it's like a utility knife or a crafting knife, okay? That has a blade at the end. I'm not sure at the angle of it, so I don't want, maybe it's 45 degrees, so the blade is slanted. And basically what they do is they put a slit, deposit color, and keep going, okay? Now, she stops in between, like if you're like, I really like need a break. And, this is nothing to do with Dina, but prior to going, I wanted to know, like, how do you know if your PMU, your permanent makeup artist, is doing a good job? How do you know if they're going deep enough into the dermis of the skin that it's going to last? And all I can tell you, and it was very true to the course, that it sounded scratching. It sounded like they were scratching into my skin. And that's the exact kind of sound that you want to hear. Okay. So basically what they do is they put a slit, they deposit the color into your skin. Okay. And she's cleaning up as she's going along, because there is bleeding, but it should be minimal. And she does that all the way down. Now you have to go back to your second session. It's, my session, it was $600 to have it done. This was 2 years ago, but it came with your first and second appointment. Now, what you will notice after your first appointment is when she's all finished, she kind of puts like this sealant over top of it. It's like a coating that matches your hair. So it helps all the pigment stay in. But it doesn't look bad. It looks like you've really just have dramatic brows. The problem that I had for me is that you really need to like keep them dry and free from like really like a lot of moisture for the first 24 to 48 hours. I was a cook, and I didn't think about the fact that I was going to be going back to work in an environment where it's steamy, hot, my head's in and out of a 400-degree convection oven. I'm over the stove sauteing and back in the back doing dishes. So all that steam and everything, for me, I felt like affected it a little bit, because I started peeling away. It's just like a tattoo. If you get a tattoo and you scab, you're going to scab up here. Do not pull those scabs away. If you pull it out, if you pull the scab off, you're literally pulling the pigment out of your skin. So you're throwing money down the drain. Let the scabs fall off naturally. I know it's going to look a little horrendous, but you can pencil in where the scab has come off. Just make sure that you're always like cleaning it, like clean your pencil first, like give it a good twist on your sharpener, and then pencil in where maybe a scab has fallen off. Now, how microblading works is the skin is deposited deep into your dermis, right? So you heal from the inside out. So as your skin is healing, it is pushing the pigment to the surface of your skin. So, when the scabbing is all done, you're going to say to yourself, I paid $600 for this. They look really light. Well, that's because they're still healing. It takes at least 6 7 to 14 days for your brows to heal, and at least another month for the color to really start coming through. And the reason you need to go to that second appointment is because she can't keep making slits, or you're just going to have one big slit in your face. So she can't keep making slits. She's got it or he's got to do it in steps. So the second step is going back and correcting, or I don't want to say correcting, filling in the gaps, adding more color. So it's very important. For my PMU, Dina, my second appointment came along with my original payment. So you truly just need to like leave it be. Don't pull at it. Don't yank at it. If you're a slow healer, it may take you even longer to get to the color that you're desiring. So let me see if I can do this while I'm on camera, because well, let's see. I don't know. Let me start with this shade, because I do have to be somewhere later. So you need to make sure that you're not pulling at it. You're not tugging at it in any way, shape, or form, and trust the process. That's what Dina used to say to me, trust the process. And I had a hiccup. This had absolutely nothing to do with her. So I had my first appointment. I was probably maybe 2 weeks out from having my second appointment done, and I threw my back out. Now, what I should have done is, canceled my second appointment. I should have done that because, I was taking ibuprofen, I was taking Aleve, everything that you shouldn't. I told her that I had stopped taking it 3 days prior to the appointment, but I had been on it for like a week and a half. And she really did try her damnedest to, do the second appointment. But it wasn't, like I said, nothing to do with her. Her work is absolutely amazing. So she worked very hard, but at the end of the day, because I did have to take this medicine, after it healed from my second appointment, it really was not as great as it should have been. So she was gracious enough to me to let me come back for a third visit. We did speak about cost, because the second, you only get 2 visits, but she was also very, very understanding, and we talked about cost. So I did have to pay an additional amount, which, I'm just going to leave that to myself, but I did have to pay an additional amount because I had to go back for a third time. But that third time, it really took for me. I didn't have to be on any medications whatsoever. But again, for me, it was well worth all of the money that was spent, because I never have to worry about penciling them in. I wake up in the morning and they're done, If I want to go with a really simple, like no makeup look, I don't have to worry about putting brows on anymore, or going swimming. And let me reach for a smaller one. I'm going to go a little darker on my outer V. I loved everything about her. She works out of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So definitely, look her up on Instagram and take a look at her photos, because the work she does is absolutely outstanding. Her and I did talk prior to this, and I told her that she's not paying me to do this. I'm not getting any free product from this. This is my genuine feeling about her and her work. She did not give up. I have this part here microbladed, and then it's called what I had done eventually was called a combination brow. So the first time I had it done, the whole thing was microbladed. The second time, She did try to microblade. I just was bleeding too much that she literally said, no, we got to stop this appointment because you're bleeding too much. You're going to have to come back. I said, okay, I totally understand. And I felt bad. I'm like, I'm really sorry. But she was so upset, not with me, just upset because she wanted me to be happy. That's how dedicated this young lady is. And, so when I called, when I made, excuse me, when I made that third appointment, she's like, you didn't take anything, right? And I'm like, no, I'm free of everything. So, I have, even though my skin looks really great, it is 51-year-old skin, so it is mature skin. So she had some issues with getting the microblading to look as good as she wanted it to be for me in between like here and my tail. So what she ended up doing was called like a combination powder brow. So this first part, well, the whole thing is microbladed, but my third appointment, this from here to here, you can see the microblading in individual strokes. Then starting at about a quarter of the way in, from here to here, it's tattooed. And again, she worked really, really hard to make sure that I was happy. That was her main goal, and her main purpose is Cinnamon going to be happy with this, with how this has turned out. And I just love that about her. And when you look at her work, I wish I could show it to you, but I can't because I'm recording from my phone. Again, I'm just going to, because I'm going out and I have an eye look on, I'm just going to pencil in just a little bit. Bring it down. But you definitely, sorry, I'm covering my face. You definitely need to go to her Instagram page. Again, it's BELLAFACCIA-PMU. Her name is Dina Marie. You can message her if you want to set up an appointment. She generally does get back to people within, I'd say, 24 hours. She's a very busy young lady, as you can imagine, because of her talent. And, when it came to like getting my lips like done, I did my homework then too. But when you're talking about having something permanently tattooed to your face, you really, really want to do your homework, because it's tattooed. It's not like, oh, well, I don't like how my lips look, I just won't ever go back and get them done. No, it's not like that. So you really need to make sure that the person that you're going to knows what the hell they are doing. So I guess that's all I can tell you about the procedure, about what I went through, the healing process. Again, if I didn't cover something, or you want to know something a little bit more, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear back from you, or if you've had it done, what you felt about your microblading experience. And did you feel like, yeah, it was worth the money? No, it wasn't worth the money. And again, this was something that I saved up for, just like having my lips done, just like I had a tummy tuck done about 25 years ago. These are all cosmetic procedures and clearly not covered under insurance. So I saved my money. A little bit here and there. I just started doing my research in 2017. It took me a year, because I could only save like maybe $20 here, $10 there. And it took me a year to really find the person that I wanted. I knew that I wanted to get it done, so I started saving my money in a little envelope that said brows on it. Same with having my lips done. Saved my money on an envelope that said lips. So, if it's something that you're interested in and you're tired of constantly having to pencil in your brows, or you want you want to wake up with brows on your face, this to me is the best alternative ever, ever, ever. Again, I did pencil them in just a little bit because I am going to be doing, putting lashes on in a little while and liner. So kind of having a more dramatic makeup day today. So pardon me, what is wrong with me, girl? Choking. Ugh. So I hope that, like I said, I hope that I answered all of your questions. If you have any questions whatsoever, go to Dina Marie's page at Bella Fascia PMU, and say, hey, I saw your Simply Cinnamon did a video, and I had some questions for you. She will get back to you ASAP. Or if you have a question for me about my own personal experience, please leave me a comment down below and I will get back to you. And if it's something that I can't answer, I will find the answer and get back to you. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Beauty is not the most important thing in the world, girls, but we need to take care of ourselves, and it is a form of self-love and self-care. So I'm sending you light. I'm sending you love. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay blessed. Be kind to one another. Be kind to yourself. And I'll see you all again in my next video. Bye.